Over my last two videos, we've been exploring the issue of capital punishment from factual and philosophical perspectives. So if you haven't caught either of those, pop over now. The links are both in the description box below. The next and most important question that I for myself as a Christian had to ask in searching for this moral truth is, what does God say? Many Christians use Old Testament passages such as Genesis 9:6, "Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for God made man in his own image," to justify support of capital punishment. They may also reference the 36 capital sins assigned by God in the Old Testament as evidence of it being a righteous punishment. The issue of these viewpoints is that Jesus directly contradicted and replaced these laws. For example, in Matthew 5:38-39, Christ says, "You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist one who is evil. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also." And in John 8:7, Christ teaches, "Let he who is without sin be the first to cast a stone." On both occasions, he directly addresses and challenges the laws of the Old Testament. Since we know the Word of God is unchanging, we can then assume something else is altered in between these two passages. And indeed, Old Testament scholar Julius Wellhausen argued that there is an evolutionary revelation from Old to New Testament. Thus, the punishments of the Old Testament are directed at a very different society indeed. On the other hand, even within the New Testament, some would reference John 19:11, where Jesus says, "You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above," when confronted by Pilate, struggling over whether or not to execute him. Which could be seen to suggest the power of a state to execute as punishment is God-given. However, this passage also has the potential to be read in the context of Jesus speaking of how each part of this specific plan, from crucifixion to resurrection, is God's, that the scripture might be fulfilled. Such statements are frequently found throughout John's Gospel, and therefore perhaps this wasn't intended to be taken or applied in the more general and liberalised usage. Ultimately, there is an ongoing debate in the international and interdenominational Christian community that needs to be had. But for me, to find the one truth in the scripture, we must interpret it in lines of the precepts and examples set by Christ and Christ's gospel. And Christ's gospel is a story about the ultimate, unlimited forgiveness, patience, peace, compassion, redemption, and love. The ultimate problem with the death penalty is that it is either indiscriminate or unjust, impractical or unethical, and it is always irreversible. In my research, I found that every one case like that of the despicable Lawrence Whitakers, there are 10 of the broken and remorseful Christopher Burgess. Truly, in that same source, I also heard about 3 others. A 19-year-old with a perfect record who was spiteful with drugs, went berserk and killed his best friend. A man whose trial was evidently biased by a clear sense of racial discrimination and intimidation in the jury. And a man with evidence to show he was mentally impaired to the point where many experts didn't think him competent of making a plea. Just the fact that all those men are now dead, whilst Whitaker lives on, shows how those conscious enough to maybe be seen as deserving of this ultimate punishment can work the system to avoid it. And it is those most vulnerable who will pay the largest price. As for irreversibility, Joe Arady, Thomas Griffin, Minx Griffin, Lena Baker, John Snowden, William Jackson, Jack Kehoe, the names of the 7 people in the US who have been granted full posthumous pardons. Studies show up to 300 inmates sentenced to death over a 30-year period were probably innocent. Since 1973, 105 US prisoners sent to death row have been exonerated. These are the crucial pieces of evidence on which I base my verdict. As long as human beings are imperfect, so too shall our justice systems be. We do ourselves no benefits by risking these lives, guilty or innocent. And my conscience is not prepared to bear the weight of being a passive member of a society that is willing to gamble on the immense capacity of a human life out of sheer fear. And so I leave you with these words today. We are all going to die, and we have no choice about that. But we do get to choose whether or not to kill, and it's wrong to kill people. Thank you for watching. I hope I gave you something to think about.